Hi, I am Andi the Knittress, and this is my channel on the internet. It's where I like to share everything that I love to do with yarn. Yarn is my passion, that's for sure. It's been a while since I filmed. I don't think I filmed since September. It's been pretty rough. I lost a close friend in the beginning of October, and that affected me more than I thought it would. And I just have kind of been, just hunkering down and knitting and taking care of myself and those around me. So I've finished a lot of things. I don't even have all of them readily available. Tons of socks. I finished my second breakfast sweater by Lisa, I think it's Chimery. Yeah, I can't pronounce her last name. I think she's like Frogginette Knits or something like that on Instagram. If I remember to, I will try to link it below. I love this sweater. I made it out of Fiberco Air & More, and so it's got like little Donegal neps. There's some cashmere in there. It's still pretty rustic, but I have found over the years that I really like a rustic wool. I like soft ones too. It's got cool little texture in the elbow patches. It has pocketses, and I did a fun little different color on the inside there. Super comfy. I've got bright green buttons because there's some really fun, I don't know if you can see or if it's gotten blown out, there's just like a rainbow of Donegal tweed in there. So I finished that. I've got a few things to show you, and then I've got some life talk, which I don't usually do too much of, but I got stuff going on. So I also finished my husband's sweater. Let's see, I think it's at the bottom of this pile. Don't fall. I made him the Danny Boy cardigan in the same yarn, but purple. And that's a pattern. It was in Knit Picks, and it's like a saddle shoulder cardigan. Let's see if I can get this to where I can show you. Maybe I'll pop on a picture. I took a little snapshot of us in our matching sweaters like the old people we are. So it's got some fun pockets. He has some fun pockets, and he's got these cool buttons. And there's lots of texture on the sleeves, and he's got a garter shawl collar, which he's jealous of mine. I really like the design of mine. It's a ribbed shawl collar, and I think you cast on with one size, and you got your short rows, and then they have you go up a size, which makes the outside part here a little looser than that part, which makes it curl over real nicely. This garter one doesn't lay as nicely, and it's I probably bound off too tight now that I'm thinking about it. I should have gone up maybe 2 needle sizes to bind off, because I think that that's what is keeping it from sitting real nice. His ends up kind of just doing one of those numbers as he wears it, but they're cozy and they're warm. And there's texture on the pocket. I didn't love the way the instructions were for this. It wasn't my favorite. It was bottom up, which is not my favorite. I prefer to do top down. I thought it was really weird because you cast on a large number for the ribbing and then they have you decrease for the body, which I thought was strange. I've never had my ribbing be, it almost felt like it was flared. And it was the same for the sleeves. So like when you knit down the sleeve, you got to a certain point. Now the sleeves were supposed to be back and forth, and I did switch it to knitting in the round. You got to this point here, and then you decreased at the bottom, and then you increased for the ribbing, and that didn't make any sense to me at all. Like, why does my ribbing have more stitches than the bottom of the sleeve? It makes it flared. I don't know if I don't like it. I won't knit that pattern again. I'll probably end up making my husband a second breakfast. He really likes my sweater. So, I don't remember what order things were going or what I've shown, but I'm pretty sure I haven't shown any of these things. I did finish my Superstitious pullover by Michael Shawn. I love this sweater. I did it cropped. I made it cropped. This is my favorite sweater. I did this out of oh man, Forbidden Fiber Co. It's I want to say it's called Temperance, her Temperance base, and it's BFL, which I love because it doesn't pill as I pull a pill off. It doesn't pill as much as merino, but I have worn the heck out of this, and like, you can't see very much pilling. Of course, there's a little under the armpit because, you know, friction, but that's why I love BFL. It's one of my favorites. But I love this sweater, and I wore it quite a bit after I finished it. It was good charts. I know that when I got this sweater originally, it was a free pattern, which I thought was amazing, and I snagged it up. But then I see now that it is a paid-for pattern. I don't remember exactly how much it is, but I went back and I bought it also, even though I already had it in my downloads. I went ahead and paid him for his time because he did all these charts, and it was graded, and it fit me wonderfully, and it had it was very size inclusive, so I went ahead and purchased that again. I'm a big fan of supporting makers and pattern writers, and oh, I should have grabbed, oh, I have them. I'll talk about it. There's a pair of socks that I made on my machine, and it wasn't a pattern written for the machine, but I purchased somebody's pattern so that I could reconstruct it that way. I finished my Vertices Unite, which this is my favorite thing, I think, ever to wear. Stephen West is a genius, and thank you, Fiber Hustle, for doing that make along, and then all my friends who were making one, because I am so glad I did it. I'm not usually a shawl person. You know, I don't do shawls very often. I'm a sweater person, but I love this. So much so that I cast on a second one. It's just like a back burner project because it's, you know, just basic garter. When you start out, it's not something I'm in any kind of hurry to finish. I'm just savoring working on it. This yarn is all dyed by my husband. It's all here in Colors Dye Works. I wear this shawl to work a lot. And it's just, it's very me. It's, you know, it makes me smile. And Just, if something can make you smile and bring joy to your day, do it. Wear it, sing it, dance it, whatever, you know, can make you smile and bring joy to you. I'm all about that. Something, oh, I finished my husband's Montrealer also. Let me move some stuff. Now he wears the heck out of this thing, so it is pilly AF. And this was yarn that he had dyed. It was Lion Brand's Fisherman's Wool. And he dyed this. So it's not the best plied yarn, so it does pill quite a bit. And he wears this, I swear to you, just about every single day. So, and I didn't know until last minute today that I was going to film. I decided that I just needed to just do it again. So here is his hood. I love their, is it Maxer? I think Maxer wrote this pattern. I don't know if it's designed by Dells or Maxer, and I know that they're individuals, and I always forget who wrote it. I will really try to link it down below, and you guys are probably screaming it. I think it's designed by Dells. Anyway, it's the Montrealer, and it's a hoodie with a fun pocket. And I did a different striping sequence than was recommended because of the yarn we had. Bobby's a big guy, so the little stripes would have not played well. The big stripes look better on him. But this sweater, I think I might have told you guys that I had to do like sweater surgery on it. I don't remember if that was just to my friends or if that was on the last podcast. But so you see down here how there's 3 stripes of purple and 3 stripes of green. Well, originally there was 3 stripes of blue and 3 stripes of the orange. But somehow when I was planning the striping out for the length of the body, I didn't put my row gauge in correctly. Well, what actually happened was I was saying numbers to my husband, and I think that he heard 15 when I said 50 when we were doing the math to figure out how many rows each person would, or each color would get. So I got clear down to here, and then I had him try it on, and it went all the way like to mid-thigh on him. And that just was way too long. And that was before I even did any ribbing at all. So I picked up in the brown section here, below the second blue stripe and above the last orange stripe. And I put them all on needles, and I Kitchenered together around this entire sweater in this row right here. I don't ever want to do that ever again. Never. But it was worth it because he loves it. It's his very favorite. I was saying that I really like how you do how you encase the string and the pocket as well. It's like, you know, knit and then fold it over, but I just think that that's genius. I think it's really awesome. I don't think that I have a picture of him in this sweater, but if I do, I will put it in here. Something else I finished is one of my granny stripe projects that I had, and this is worsted weight yarn, and it's just like a lap throw, and I love it, and it keeps me warm when I'm sitting and knitting. It's worsted weight. I think it's on a G plus or an H hook, and it's just a regular old granny stripe. makes it so I don't have tons of worsted weight scraps left over. See, there's some from the Montrealer. This was left over from my grandmother's sweater. I don't remember what that's from. What was that? I don't know what that is. But there's my sweater that I'm wearing now. That's from the Montrealer. This was also from one of my grandmother's sweater. This was from my Willow pullover. I got some fun colors in here from a shawl that I made for Scarlett. There was a sweater I made for work that I had leftovers from. It's just fun. It keeps you warm and cozy. And it's pretty to look at when it's folded in a basket or something. I'm making a pile of stuff. Something else that I finished, I cast on and finished, and I absolutely love this. And I will put a picture of me in this in here because it's super cute. We had gotten some yarn that was like super bulky core plied, core spun, core spun, and it inspired me to make a big bulky sweater. And I was thinking of those oh, it's super popular and the name just left my head. I didn't buy the pattern, I just cast this on and did it myself because you had to have kits to do the one knit collage. Yes, knit collage has some very awesome looking like sweaters and bulky yarns and hand spuns, and so that's what I wanted to do. So I got some Malabrio Rasta in this lovely shade of green that happens to be my very favorite. And I also got it in orange for the trim, but then I just mixed in some of my hand spun. This here's my hand spun. This is some bulky hand spun that I have. This is some bulky hand spun that I have. I had some other, this one's also some of my hand spun. And then I had 2 skeins of bulky yarn that I had bought that I didn't know what I was going to do with. So they kind of fit the whole color scheme going on here. Very Halloween. It's a cardigan, and I just have one big giant button here at the top. I have had this button forever. It's a coconut button, and I always thought I'd put it on a hat, or I don't know, but I just thought it was just perfect. And so I just crocheted around the edge and made a loop for the button. And it's got kind of like a dolman sleeve, you know, like batwing style, and it only goes 3/4 length, but you'll see. I'll put a picture of me in it. I have a couple of pictures, and I just love it. But it is like wearing a blanket. It is so warm, so warm. I don't know that it's cold enough where I live to wear this often. I mean, sometimes I get cold in the house and it's really nice to put on because it's like wearing a blanket. So I still do wear it, and I'll put it on as like an overcoat if I'm gonna be outside. And it just makes me happy. The older I get, the more I just get like, I used to try to branch out with my color choices and, you know, make other color things. But you know what? Halloween color palette, bright colors, they just make me happy. And when I wear them, I'm more confident. So I just stick with it. I find that when I do neutrals, I don't feel as confident. I don't feel like I can shine as bright as the colors that I'm wearing. So I don't know. I like to wear Halloween colors year round. something else I finished I don't have with me, but I have the book that I did it out of. I got this book. It's called Magical Woodland Knits, and it's by Claire Garland. And she has some very cute little critters in here. And I made these cute little mice like this. I made a pair of them, and I will put a picture in here because I took them to my job and I gave them to one of my customers because it just brought a smile to her face and made her happy. It didn't take very much of my time to make these, and they're just adorable. I used some fun yarns. They're really cool patterns because they have you, you know, hold yarns together in certain orders, and then you switch. So like you'll hold like a mohair or a surrey together, and then maybe you'll take this one out and then switch it to these two together. But I got some really cool, fun, micey colors, and there I have so much left over. I made two, and it barely even dented these skeins. So I've got these two are GGH or Gegeha Surrey Alpaca, so they're extra fuzzy and fun. This one is Nua Sport. It's Stolen Stitches, and it's merino yak and linen. I just got some surrey in my throat. It's a merino yak and linen, so it's super fun texture-wise. So they turned out really cute, and you'll see a picture in here. I think they're adorable. And this one is just a Plymouth Galloway Sport. I think it's just a merino or just a wool. Highland wool. So I'm probably going to make another set of mice one day when I don't know what to do when I want to cast something on. So that's why it still lives in this bag with the book, because I will make another. There's a couple of other things in here I want to make too. I want to make this adorable owl. And she has really great instructions and very good visual pictures. Like, not to give too much away, but like she shows exactly where, you know, what you're sewing together. And she has you place markers, you know, at some point in time, and so, you know, like this is the right leg marker will be the same color as the other part, so that you know exactly how to do it. But there's a cool owl in here that I would like to make. I just gotta find the right colors, because I, of course, want to make the owl different colors than is in here. So this is a barn owl. And he's just so cute. But I want to make him more like a snowy owl. So I gotta find the right creamy white colors. Like snow owl. So that's future plans that, you know, may never happen. They might happen. I don't know. Let's see. I've made lots and lots and lots of socks. So many so that my sock drawer is full. My husband's sock drawer is full. My kids don't really care for wool socks, so they don't get any. My daughter has a few pair, but my boys are just like, eh. They got some for Christmas and they wore them once. So I decided to start selling my socks. I have lots of sock yarn in different kinds, like mostly like commercial sock yarns, like Lang, Jowl, Opal. I got some Active from Supergarn, and they just have fun like self-striping, and I bought some feet to display them. And this one is a King Cole yarn. It's called Zigzag. I bought all the skeins that we had at work. I just love this colorway in particular because it kind of looks like a scrappy sock without having to do all the work of making a scrappy sock. And this one I did some awesome skills. Like, I did 1x1 rib at the top, and then I switched to 2x2 rib in the leg. Got my pre-heel in back here, continued the ribbing down the front of the foot, and then went into the toe. So what's so unique about doing something like this is you don't see what you're doing. You can't see down the inside of the tube the entire time because your ribber is on there the whole time until you do the toe. So if you drop a stitch, you don't know until the very end, and then you've got to start all over. But I just carefully watch them and kind of go a little slow and make sure that I get it right. But this particular sock is a size 10, I do believe. Maybe it might be an 11. I got a little extra here. I'd have to measure it, but I just started an Etsy shop. It's called The Cranky Knittress. And I have a bunch of socks that I've made, and I list you know, what yarn they're made out of, and the washing instructions, and I tell you what it measures from heel to toe, and then what size it would generally fit if you were to get that sock. It just depends on how you like your sock to fit, whether you like it to fit your foot or whether you like it to have negative ease. So I got these cool legs from Amazon. Well, actually my mom got them for me because I said, hey Mom, look, I need to get this, and she got it for me. So this one in particular said it was like a men's size foot, athletic foot, which I thought was good because people were saying on the reviews that it ran a little small, which is nice because then it fits socks that are my size socks, and I tend to make like women's size 8 to 10 socks the most because I know that they'll fit. But it's cool because it has a magnet in here, and it's got this base that I could screw this to a board, and it could constantly be like in place and stand up. But I don't know, I think it's fun. My kids were weirded out because I pulled a foot out of the box from when, you know, an Amazon box came in, and they're like, why did you order feet? Well, you know, I have a head and hands and now feet. So another thing that I've just been working on socks. Let me show you a few pair that I have. I actually have tons of them that I still have to Kitchener all the toes. Lots and lots. I have more fun cranking than the Kitchenering. I don't mind Kitchenering, but I just have more fun cranking than Kitchenering. So sometimes they sit in a pile until I can get them done. So not this pair. This pair's mine, but all of these are future store socks. I just have to get them Kitchenered, get them listed, and then the listing prices will be based on mostly the yarn prices. So if I did it with a commercial yarn that costs me only $17 a skein, it's not going to cost as much as, you know, a skein that cost me $26. So, or a skein that cost me $30. So, but I'm just having fun. I also came up with a cool way, because when you make socks on a sock machine, you end up with lots of scraps. And short of making scrappy socks, you got to figure out other things to do. I think Aquila uses a lot of her scraps, and she makes those cool little ball beanies that she has that you can, like the little skein coats. I could do that. But I found that I really liked to make fingerless mitts. So it takes about 60 grams to make a pair of socks. An average pair of socks, depends on the size and the leg, etc. So I usually have 40 grams or 30 grams left over when I'm done, which is really not enough to do a whole mitten, a whole pair of mittens, but it's enough to make misfit mitts. So I've got a couple of different skeins of yarn here, and I cranked the whole mitten with hung hem for the cuff and the finger part on the machine, and then I cranked the thumb separately and then mattress stitch it on. So I'm super in love with these. I just love them. I think they're so fun. There's Lycra held throughout, so it kind of helps it keep its shape. You can see, like, I held white Lycra with this one, and that's black yarn, so you can clearly see the white Lycra there. But I'm gonna sell these in my shop too. I gotta get them listed and figure out pricing. I want them to be less expensive than the socks, obviously, even though they take a little more work because they're made out of scraps. So it makes each one, you know, unique. So even though, like, I used the same yarn for both of these sections, they don't exactly match up. Got some cool thumbs on those. And these ones are really cool too. I just had so much fun, like, thinking of this and then executing it and figuring out a plan, and they're just, I don't know, they just make me happy. And I'm gonna say it again, anything in life that can bring a smile to your face and bring you joy, you should just latch on to that, because you need to have joy in your life. I need to have joy in my life. So some of the socks that I've got listed in the store, I've got, I keep the labels with them. They don't mail them to who they're going out to, but it's just for my information so I can make sure I put the right washing instructions on there. Got this cool pair. This one is a 2x2 ribbed sock. I like to kind of do the socks where they end up being the same size as the foot the best I can. I think that seems to be a pretty popular choice, but some cool Halloween ones, and it's just, I'm just having a good time. Hopefully people will enjoy it and buy my socks, because that's, I have a sock machine, I might as well make use of it. But there's a ton of socks. I don't want to just show you guys socks and socks and socks and socks like I've done before, but I figured out how to do other things on my sock machine. I figured out how to make hats, and I may have shown you before, but I don't know if I did. But I made this really cool hat. This is pretty twisted. I think this was her 12 Stripes of Christmas, and this is my favorite hat. And I put a brown contrasting rim on there, and if you can see that, it's like a tubular cast on the machine. So I put my ribber on there, and I have it half pitch, which means I can double the amount of stitches that I have, and then I end up with a cool hat. You know, I'm having flashbacks that I probably already showed you this. Maybe I just talk about it so much with people in my life. I don't know. You get to hear it again. But see, fits slouchy. You could roll it up and have it more fitted, and I'm messing up my hair, which is not anything special. It's just up in a ponytail. But I don't know, I really like it. So that might be future sales, hats and scarves, or hats and mitts and gloves. And I figured out that I could make really long scarf, the same idea. But I messed up halfway through when I was making this one. And so I'm in the process of Kitchener'ing it together, which is not fun. Just like when I did that sweater. At least it's not like 400 stitches and it's only like 136 or something like that. Anyway, Kitchener'ing one by one rib together is not the easiest. But nobody's gonna notice it too much. The recipient that's gonna get this, I don't think they're gonna inspect it and be like, those stitches don't line up. I don't know. Anyway, just having fun learning and doing things. And, you know, because I've been feeling down, I do therapy shopping. It happens. I have bought lots of yarn, most of which has already been used into socks that I'm not showing you. But I bought an electric eel wheel because I have lots and lots of fiber that I don't spin. I don't sit at my spinning wheel because I realized that I'm a big girl and my spinning wheel doesn't have the right width for my feet. So when I sit and I spin at my spinning wheel, when I sit and I spin at my spinning wheel, my feet have to go closer together than my hips would like to be. And so when I'm pedaling for length of time, it ends up putting strain on my hips. And who wants to only spin for like 20 minutes to a half an hour? Not me. I want to spin for the entire day. So I had been looking into getting an electric spinning wheel, and I did. I went on Ravelry, and there was a group for the electric eel wheel, and there were people selling some used. So I bought one, and I love it. This was the one that I bought. I just got the Nano, and these are aftermarket. Well, not aftermarket. I had my friend on the East Coast who has a 3D printer print them out for me, because the ones that came on here were just like little wire loops, and it had a very small hole for the yarn to go through, and if I spun any kind of thickness, sometimes it would get snagged, but this gives me a nice good space to put it in through. He ended up printing out way too many, and I just have them stored on here for now so that I don't lose them, because I actually haven't really been using this one, because as soon as I got this one, I literally had it for like 2 weeks, and I came across a lady at my work who had the electric eel wheel 6, and she had since just gotten a Hanson e-spinner with a woolly winder. So she said, I don't ever use my electric eel wheel now because she has a woolly winder, and I don't know if you know what a woolly winder is. So usually when I spin, I have to stop and then move the yarn that I'm making back so that it all doesn't end up in one spot on the bobbin. Well, a woolly winder kind of does that for you. It goes back and forth as you spin, and it winds it on the bobbin nice and evenly, so you don't ever have to stop spinning. So maybe someday. But now this one has to plug in. There, you could get a battery for it, and there's a little case that you could get where it screws into these holes and holds the battery underneath it. I hadn't got around to that yet. You can get like a foot pedal to where you can stop it, turn it off and on in, you know, you can have the foot pedal kind of by your lap, or you can put it by your foot if you wanted. But so I got an electric eel wheel 6 from a lovely, lovely lady at a very, very good price, and she had all the extras. So right now the bobbin is full. I'm working on it, but here it is. And here, let's do a side by side so you can kind of see baby, mama. So I could only do about 2 ounces on here, and then I couldn't ply them together with each other because it would be more than this bobbin. Right now I have about, there's almost 3 ounces on here, and you can see that I got quite a bit of room, which means I could do another bobbin and I could ply them together and still have, it would all fit on one bobbin. I wouldn't have to worry about splitting it. So this has a battery pack underneath, and I've got all these wires, but it's attached to my pedal. So this is my switch, and I'll push this and it'll start spinning, or it'll stop spinning depending on what I want it to do. I like just usually set this kind of on my shoulder a little, and I'll just draft and spin and draft and spin, and if I need to stop to move, I stop it. This has nice big hooks so that you could spin art yarn through there. This part is removable so that the orifice is bigger if you wanted to do like a big art yarn. I love that it has Z-spin, S-spin, so I don't have to figure out as to whether or not which one I'm spinning. That way I don't have to, with my, I'm losing my words. With my spinning wheel, I would have to be like, did I do this counterclockwise or not counterclockwise? And then I'd have to pedal the opposite way, and I would get confused, and I can't tell you how many times I went to go ply yarns together, and it was just getting super coily and super bouncy, and it wouldn't like go smooth, and I couldn't figure out why, and it was because I was spinning them the same way they were already spun, and when you ply yarn it needs to be opposite. So it's got cool little orifice hooks, and they just magnet right here. It's got a pretty purple bobbin. She also gave me, so that has the battery pack, the pedal, and there's several bobbins, and also hers had like the Lazy Kate, so this little 3D printed stuff. It's just amazing what that guy has come up with. I want to say his name is Maurice, I think. Oh, now I can't get it out. But this is supposed to unscrew, Andy, not pull. So this just unscrews here, so you could put it away flat in a little baggie. But it's like a little Lazy Kate. And there's other ones, and then I can just snap them together like puzzles, like puzzle pieces in a row, and put the bobbin on there. And just ply from there. It's awesome. So I've been busy spinning through my stash. Like, I haven't spun in probably, I want to say since probably last May, maybe longer. I canceled my Paradise Fibers Fiber of the Month Club because I wasn't spinning at all, and I was racking up the wool. So this was a little teeny bit that I spun on the Nano, and so this was one that I spun on the Nano. I think there's 50 grams here, and this was from the same spin, so you can see that it would have kind of went right from there, but I couldn't ply it anymore on the little one, so I had to cut it and ply a little bobbin, which is not a big deal, but if you don't have to and it'll all fit on one bobbin, that just makes it easier. So I think I have like 20 grams here, and there's 50 grams here. And then this was the leftover of one of those plies that I just plied on itself. So technically it could go with, but not really. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I'm just having fun. I had a bag of like random little bits of wool. I think it was from July of 2020, the Paradise Fibers bag, and they give you little samples of everything. It was a big bag of wool, and I'm just reached in the bag, pulled somebody out, added it into my spin, and was just having fun. I think this would be great in the color work of a sweater or make a cool hat. I don't know. So that was on the Nano, and this one was on the Nano, and then this one is a chain ply. So I just spun all the random bits and bobs of grabbing stuff out of the bag. Now, I have not set any of these. I haven't got them wet or anything and thwacked them. So they're a little twisty. They're not super even, but I don't care. I'll do it later. I don't know if that's right or it's wrong. Don't let me be the one to tell you that. I just do what I want. I have minimal knowledge about lots of things. But I think this ended up being just about 50 grams. But I just think it's fun. But this one I love. I think this was the first one. I think half of this bobbin I spun on the Nano, and then the other ply I spun on the 6. And it's just got very like Valentine's Day vibes to me. Let's see. There's some like sparkle in the white ply there. And so I grabbed like, I had little bumps that had white, and there was one that was like really light pink and white, and then there was more of a fuchsia, and then one that was real red and pink, and then one that was just red, and then one that was like red and gray and black. So I kind of put them out in an order and spun them in an order and then plied them. So the one was like all the whites and pinks, and then the other one was the darker, the blacks to the reds, and then I plied them together. So I got this lovely, beautiful barber pole yarn, and I think that this is like a sport weight, and I want to say I got like this is 50 grams. I wrote it down somewhere. I think there's like 156 yards on here or something like that. But then I did this one. Oh, it's blowing it out. You can't see it. It's very purple in real life. It's not blue at all. Well, there's a little bit of blue just only right here, but there's lots of like I don't know. So there's lots of like lavenders and mauves in there, and it's all plied with a white sparkly. It's blown out. There's natural light, so you can see a little bit of some of the pinky purples there. And it's not nearly as blue as it is showing up on my screen. So I think this one was all done on the 6, and I think I got like 270 some yards in here, which makes me happy because this is the finest I've ever spun. And then I got this guy. I love this. So I took the leftover white sparkle that I had from this one because there was plenty extra, and I spun that with oh yes, that's what I did. Okay. So I had, as soon as I got the wheel, I had bought some of this. The darker color here is called tartan, and then the lighter one is cyan. So I had this cyan forever because my daughter wants me to make her something out of it. So I spun the tartan, and I spun the cyan, and I had way more tartan than I did cyan. So I plied all of the tartan with the cyan, and when I ran out of the cyan, I then put the white sparkle in there. So I got this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeousness. And I think I have like 380 yards in this big old guy, and I think there's 110 grams. So it's like the finest I've ever spun and then plied together. I'm so excited about it. And I'm working on this one that's on the wheel. It's a very, very sparkly merino blend that I just got last month from Paradise Fibers because I signed up again. And then there's another, the other bump is like charcoaly grays and light grays, and it's all merino no sparkle, so I'm gonna apply them both together. And I tried to do a fun thing, just playing around, and it's a hot mess. But I tried to do a fun thing where I spun little leftover yarn bits into like little Donegal neps. First go around, I thought I could just spin it in with the yarn. I think that ultimately I need to comb them out on my carders and like kind of add them into the bat, because some of them just pluck right out. So that wasn't a good idea, but it was a good try. Like I had an idea, I tried it, and I failed. But hey, I tried. And it's pretty to look at. It'll never be anything, this one. It'll just be a little decoration in a bowl on my table, and pretty to look at. And some yarns, it's okay that that's what they are. And one of the reasons I'm like super about being happy right now and finding the happy things in life is because a lot of you know that I work at my local yarn store. And I don't usually name my local yarn store. I try to keep that a little bit separate than, you know, my online persona. But my yarn store is closing down. And it is very sad, and it is heart-wrenching and devastating. And I'm not gonna cry. I don't know if any of you have ever had your dream job, and to have that ripped away from you is soul crushing. I have blossomed so much since working at Naughty Lady Yarns, and it is such a great team to work with. My boss is very amazing. We have, it's there until April 2nd. So go buy yarn because it's on sale. And on March 1st, it's all 50% off. And there is some wonderful yarns there. There's so much yarn. I can't even begin to tell you. Like, there's Barocco and Plymouth and Lang and Hedgehog and Miss Crosby and Sugarbush and Fiberco and Wonderland Fibers and Alexandra, the Art of Yarn, and there's local dyers, and there's like Ryeberry, and there's Knitted Wit, and I could go on and on and on. And underneath all of those names, there's several lines of wool and non-wools and cottons, and I've just learned so much, and I've been able to teach so much. I have such a passion for yarn. It sparks the creativity in me, and it's my life. It's my life. And when I found that job, I just blossomed. I grew. I'm able to teach people how to fix their problems, how to understand their stitches, how to understand yarn weights, how to understand how to sub out things, and it's all just basic math, and not to be afraid of knitting math because it's very easy and it's very simple. And to see the spark and the light go on when somebody actually understands their problem and knows what they're looking at and how to fix that drop stitch, it just makes me such a proud teacher. And then I could share that with them. And at my work, we don't charge people to teach them how to knit. We don't charge people to fix their drop stitches or to wind their skeins of yarn. We don't charge them for that. We just spread the knowledge. We just spread the knowledge. We want everybody to have joy in wool and yarn and fiber like we do. And it's just been amazing. And it's really sad that we have to close our doors, and it's going to leave a big hole in the community. And my boss is ready to retire. She deserves it. She's wonderful. And unfortunately, she's created such a great space that it's hard for somebody to just step in and take on that overhead. So the doors are closing. There's no saving that store. But I decided that it's what I'm good at. I am ruined for working in any other line. I mean, I can make socks and hats and sell them, but it is not going to bring me the joy that teaching people to knit and crochet and weave and spin, it's not going to bring me that joy. And I need that joy in my life. So I'm going to start my own yarn store in this town. I don't know how long it's going to take me. I don't know. I don't have any plans yet. I've just recently decided it, and I'm looking into how I can go about this, but it's going to be small. I'm going to start very small so that I don't have a massive overhead, so that I won't fail. But the important thing is I'm going to be there to teach people about yarn and to give them the joy that I have, to spark that in them. So I started a Gofundme page for anybody in the community that would like to donate to help me make that dream come true, to fill the void that's going to be in my town. People have traveled from all over to come visit our yarn store. It's a destination yarn store. We are a small store. We're a team of 3 ladies on a regular basis. And we will answer the phones. We will ask your questions. We will talk you through fixing your stitches. We will let you know the exact shade of the color, even, that it doesn't look quite like what it looks like on the screen on your end. Or, this yarn is pretty similar to this yarn, so it could replace it. It could gauge it. We just answer all those questions, and we do it with a smile. We love doing it. And there's nothing else for me. I have to do it. And it's scary for me to think about going from, a W-2 mentality to owning my own business. But I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna dive in. No fear, no ego, just do it. I know that there is a need for it in my community, and I just have to do it. I feel like there's nothing else for me. I am going to let this change inspire the growth in me that has been blossoming for the past 3 years of being part of Naughty Lady. And I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen. Whether or not I go in with a partner, or I do it by myself, or it takes, a month or 6 months or a year for me to make it actually physically happen and have a brick and mortar, it will happen. I'm gonna do it. And I'm excited. I'm really, really excited about it. So that's what my life's been. That's why I've been away. I had a loss in October, and I was just coming around to being able to feel more normal, and then I get hit again. But it's kind of lit a fire under my ass. There's a need for it. There's definitely a need for it, and it's gonna happen. And I don't know. I'm just gonna keep repeating myself. I'm just excited. I'm really super excited. And slightly a bit nervous because, you know, it's a big change, but, you know, life is change. It really is. But just let me know if you have any pointers or ideas, or you just want to give me a cheers on, you can do it. That would be awesome. And until then, take it one stitch at a time, because that's all that you can do.